Hello, welcome to the alpha version 0.3 super duper feature list. Well, that's a terrible name, but I don't really know what to call it, but basically I want to go over a lot of the little details and things we changed that you might overlook. I don't want to go over the main new content, because I feel like that's spoilers, excuse me, but there's a lot of little things, so blah blah blah. So firstly, look at this main menu. Woo! Help is just the help screen. That's the last use of the chiller font. I forgot to get rid of it. Credits, this is just temp. We're working on our credit system. Options, so we have key bindings. I didn't actually test them, but hopefully they work. Subtitles, we added subtitles because someone was saying that was missing in the last build. We were going to do it later, but we figured it was worth getting done now and not putting off. Headphones mode is something I've talked about at great length. Basically, it's a binaural mix. It's a head-related transfer function, part of the OpenAL Mob audio system, which we use and also maintain. Looking at this option screen, it's not very exciting, but it's pretty cool. The only caveat is that we had to disable it last minute on Ouya because it was destroying our frame rate, and it turned out we were not using optimizations on Ouya at all. So unfortunately we submitted the build, and it's a pain to resubmit, but headphones mode will work on the next Ouya version. Interestingly, the Ouya does not have a headphones port, so it's less useful there, although the Mad Catz Mojo does, which is nice. So there's a little menu here. Continue, start from the beginning. This is Wii Sports save games. Let me see here. I thought I had the stuff unlocked, but well, let me dive right into the game and then I'll talk more about that. So anyway, skip that. So something interesting to note is unfortunately we replaced the portrait. This was a different backer here, this portrait. And we replaced it. Well, he'll get his portrait back, don't worry. But this has actually been a big project. So we did almost all of our backer portraits, and we put several of them in the last build. And a lot of people said, hey, these really don't fit the art style of the game. They don't fit, you know, what's wrong with these? What are we going to do? So we actually, we talked to a friend of mine, like Barrett Meeker, who's doing Homestick, a really talented artist and game designer. And he gave us a lot of pointers. So basically, and also we got a lot of pointers from the community. So basically we are doing sort of full body, less detail shots, and then probably we'll swap in the old ones for closer looks, which gets us more interaction and also sort of works with a better matching of the style. So I guess we really should have done more work on the backer portraits beforehand, you know, so we knew exactly what it took to deliver them. So then here's another new feature which you may not notice, but I'm pretty happy with. So if you look, the character sort of goes into the blackness. He's sort of absorbed by it, which I think looks way better. I was playing an old build and where he just sort of, you know, walks on nothing, and it looked dumb. So that was something cool we added. Let me just skip around here with my developer tools. You can't see my developer tool, but it's a little list of things I can change. And so, where was I gonna go? Start woods. So we've actually put in our stair descending animation, and our new level has a lot of the staircases, but this we added back into this level. the stair thing has been a constant thorn in our side and a ton of work. Let's see. So let's skip ahead. Oh, why don't I remember what these things are called? Okay, so this is, I mentioned this in a Kickstarter update, but basically we found a lot of people at GDC were wandering around in this room and then getting lost. And so I forget what my solution I think was just to restrict the navigation. But Adam Sessler, formerly of Rev3, said, oh, you should do a light through the keyhole, which is a really great idea because it both tells you where the door is and it gives you sort of a better idea of where your character is. Although, I mean, like, I can see the character clearly through the shading pattern. I doubt everyone can. I've been looking at this game a lot longer than most people. So let's see, that's a bunch of stuff. I'm totally gonna forget a lot of things, but I'm doing my best. So let's skip ahead to the Lost Child level. I did a bunch of work here. Oh, also Rumble. We added Rumble last minute. It's kind of in your face. We're gonna have to add an option to turn off Rumble. But just haven't gotten around to it. Rumble's a whole another thing. So, firstly, if you'll notice, and this is subtle, you enter the cabinet in the other direction. The reason for this is twofold. One is that we found a lot of people were getting stuck on this setup, and we thought maybe the patrol behavior was too long and people didn't really know where it would end, so we reduced the patrol behavior. Now the problem with that is that if we reduced it from 4 to 2 because basically we want him to continue going the direction he's going, so you don't have to wait a really long time. But so we had to go down to 2. The problem with that was he would never do his door shake, or sorry, cabinet shake, which you just saw him do. He used to always do the cabinet shake on the other side, but we mirrored everything, so now he can do the cabinet shake on this side, which makes more sense, you know, given the motion and blah blah blah. It's a minor thing, but I think it has a lot of gameplay ramifications. The other nice thing is when you exit, you're already on track towards the direction you're going. So it's interesting because given the survey, a lot of people, you know, said that maybe, well, we didn't get many too hards for the regular baby setups, but we got a lot of too hards for the chase segment. But it seems like for average Joe gamers, you know, the people we're getting at GDC, it was still a little too hard. So I also, before GDC, I made a couple other things about it harder, and I had to tone it down. I think I tweaked the distance for when you're chasing him, because he used to you have to be right on him and then he would notice you, but I tweaked that down. So then I did a lot of work on this segment here. So a lot of people found this chase scene too hard, and they suggested a lot of ways to improve it. So firstly, well, let me just do it. Well, basically, if you use up all your stamina before he chases you, then you're screwed, right? Like, that's by design. So, firstly, you'll notice part of the floor here is missing, and the reason for that is basically to push you into the doorway, because a lot of people felt like they were on the one side. Okay, that's annoying. Let me just switch around here. A lot of people felt like they had trouble getting in that door, so I pushed in that trigger. The other thing is I made a tweak to the stamina such that the run speed gets slower the further you run, and I forgot to go back and retune it this segment, so this segment was actually harder than I had intended it to be, and that was my bad, but now I've done a number of things to get to make it easier. Something interesting is I added something kind of like in racing games where it's like rubber banding. So you probably can't notice, but as he gets closer to me, he actually slows down. And the idea behind this is, you know, we have to get him on screen as fast as possible, because our player character is very large on the screen for, you know, an action-y game, which, of course, our game isn't action-y, but one could say the chase sequence is action-y. So there's not a lot of visibility, you know, in front or behind, which makes designing these enemy things kind of interesting. I feel like I've been talking a lot. Hopefully I'm not boring anyone, talking as fast as possible, in case it's boring. So, anyway, so as he approaches you, he slows down, and this solves a few problems. One is that if you miss the audio cue, and you only start running when he appears on screen, you can still probably, hopefully make it. Well, not that time, I didn't. Oh no, I did. So, yeah, I waited until he was on screen, and I still made it. And of course, the advantage, of course, was because he was, sorry, what was I gonna say? He was, slowing down, and of course you're slowing down too, because you're tired, but he's slowing down because he's getting too close to you. So it gets him on camera, and it makes it feel threatening, and that you just narrowly escape. Because one of the problems I was running into is that you know, if I slowed him down too much, then, you know, you could just breeze by him, and it didn't feel threatening. And certainly for a horror game, you know, threatening is really important. Okay, so that's a bunch of stuff. Let me show, well, we have some menus options here. I don't think we had this as many options. So then this is kind of cool. We have this Nightmare Select. So the Nightmare Select is basically how I envision the branching narrative to work, and how you can go back and replay a section. Some of these are supposed to be red. We're gonna redo the effect for connecting them, because it totally sucks, and I just put in like a box last minute. We didn't get a chance to do it, but basically you can go and select, and, you know, theoretically there's going to be a branch off of Lost Child, and then of course these question mark things that are faded out are the levels segments we haven't done yet. I don't promise that we'll have this many. I hope to have this many. This is sort of my theorized layout, but we might have to cut content. I mean, realistically, that's something that happens. So, oh yeah, someone wanted a save per thing, so basically you can maintain a save per thing. So, like, you know, for each one you can keep your progress. It's not very interesting for, like, other levels, like, you know, if you already played, it saves you at the last room. But, I mean, depending on the way the level is set up, maybe that's a good place to start and look for branches. And so basically this is just... The idea behind this is so everyone can get the most out of the branching narrative, which totally doesn't exist yet, but is something that hopefully will happen, assuming we stay on schedule. But so basically the branching narrative... you can see where the connections are that you missed, and where all the secret passages are, and then go back and replay those levels and try and find the branches. So I think I've spoken enough for now. That's all that is coming to mind. I said Rumble, I said save games. Yeah, so, anyway, it's, of course, the big thing is, of course, the new level. which isn't completely finished yet, but I don't really want to talk about it now. Spoilers. But anyway, that just sort of gives you an idea of the things that we've done and how we've tried to improve the gameplay in the existing levels. And of course, there's also story elements we added in the existing levels that weren't there before, so they're definitely worth replaying. And also, you kind of have to replay them because we added save games and nothing's unlocked. Anyway, so I'll stop talking, but that's sort of where we're at with new features and the latest build, and I'll probably think of like 10 more features if I keep talking. But that's it. I'm signing off. Thanks.